What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady, as well as a couple bonus stories from r/Today I Fudged Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called, You Really Don't Work Here? Well, you should still help me anyways. I went to lunch with my boyfriend over his break. We ate at the back room, and then finished up and walked out of the back room into the store. That's when Karen spotted me. My boyfriend was wearing the uniform of the store, a solid colored shirt with name tag and solid colored pants. I was wearing a polka dotted cardigan, a denim skirt, no name tag, zebra print Converse, and jewelry. He works in a department store and made a beeline for his department, which is mostly outdoors. I decided to stick around to buy some windshield wiper fluid, so was walking towards that aisle. Karen flagged me down. Excuse me, hi, I'm in a rush, babe, so, hi, actually, I need to buy a desk fan. Oh, actually, I'm not finished, but a desk fan, bath towels, the soft kind, not the cheap ones. Do you have laminating sheets? Oh, actually, never mind, I need ma'am, listen, a mesh basket, staple refillers. Oh, are there different sizes? Anyways, I need the medium size, I guess. Are you listening? I'm in a huge rush, and so, finally, I just started walking away. It's at this point that Karen grabs my shoulder. I don't react well to being touched by strangers. What are you doing? I wasn't finished. I am on a time crunch, babe. Why are you being so impatient? I mean, really, you're at work, honey. It's like no one respects people older than them these days. I just can't believe. I don't work here! Do I look like I work here? Karen looks at me and realizes her mistake and becomes visibly embarrassed. I'm finally calming down from having been grabbed by a stranger. But you came out of an employee-only door. I was visiting my boyfriend. Even if I worked here, you don't just touch someone. So you really don't work here? No. So can your boyfriend help me? No, he works in gardening. Karen stops to think for a moment. I guess she had a system error when she couldn't ask for my manager, seeing as I didn't work there. She was looking extra embarrassed now and dramatically shielding her face like there were paparazzi covering her important life. While you probably know the store if your boyfriend works here, you could just help me find my things? That would be the nice thing after causing this inconvenience when I told you I'm in a hurry. Why would I help you after you grabbed me like a street thug? Are you insane? We're done. I turned to go, still shaken up. She called after me. You can't blame me for thinking you work here when you came out of an employee-only door. I'm going to report your boyfriend to the garden manager for having you back there. Baseball pitcher? I stopped myself before I flew into a full rage. Excusez-moi? I stopped walking away at this point because I didn't actually know whether my boyfriend was technically allowed to have me back there or eat lunch back there and didn't want to get him in trouble. But I also couldn't bring myself to help this woman after all that. Fine, I'll help you. Just make it quick. I snatched her list from her, and sure enough, I knew where about half the things were, which made it all that much easier to strategically avoid those aisles as I dragged Karen on a time-sucking trek around the store. This is always where they keep the laminating sheets. And they're out, but you can get a 48-pack of duct tape and tape a clear layer over your documents. It'll work just as well. Here you go. I could have sworn it was aisle 5. I guess it was actually aisle 25. We have to go back. Oh, silly me. It was aisle 6. Back we go. You know what? They're out. My mistake. It's actually aisle 18. We did this for almost 45 minutes. Longer than I thought I could pull it off. There's no cell reception in the store and almost no clocks to keep people shopping longer. So it wasn't until we walked past customer service and she saw their desk clock that she realized how long this had been going on. She was urinated. She stormed past 8 people waiting in the customer service queue to file a complaint about me eating lunch with my boyfriend, then wasting her time. I knew the customer service guy, not super well, but we'd met. He listened patiently to her side of the story, then came over to me separately and asked what happened. I broke down. I was so upset. I said I was having lunch with my boyfriend and she saw me leaving the back room and said if I didn't help her buy the things on her list, she'd get him fired, and I had no idea it was against the rules and he didn't either. I swear I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to waste her time. The store's just so big and she didn't give me a choice and she said I had to help her. I'm crying by then and the customer service guy goes, Whoa, slow down. People have lunch back there all the time. It's not a problem. I'll give her a coupon and she'll unclench. Just go home. So I lingered to be sure the customer service guy didn't get into any trouble defending me because on the hierarchy, he was basically the same level as my boyfriend, so would be vulnerable if Karen escalated. Ma'am, if you'll just join the line, I'll resolve this issue to your satisfaction. Are you freaking kidding me? I just missed my appointment because of that backroom bimbo and you're telling me what? Wait, what? Where? What? Where is your manager? I can call my direct supervisor, ma'am, but you'll have to wait for him at the back of the line. These other customers have been here, and once I service them, I'll help you right away. I want to talk to him now. He isn't back here at the moment. He's attending to business elsewhere in the store. But I have him notified that he's needed at this desk and he'll be here to assist you at his earliest convenience. Don't try to play me dumb. He's back there. I can tell he's back there. If you were here, you'd see him. Back here is just behind the desk. Further back, all we have back there is a fax machine and file cabinet. I assure you, there are no offices or anywhere anyone would be staked out to avoid you. Now excuse me, I need to help this customer. Karen keeps trying to get his attention and he keeps helping someone who's returning a cartload of stuff. Finally, Karen tries to launch herself over the counter, but does not have the agility to make it over and just kind of bounced a couple of inches off the ground. Security came over at this point and asked her to either join the queue, shop, or go home. I took that opportunity to go home. My boyfriend had to go directly to a second job, but I can't wait to laugh about this with him later. Man, what is with Karen's making people cry? Jeez, she was just trying to hang out with her boyfriend. The dude works 2 jobs and she's deciding to be a jerk. Okay, moving on. Karens are jerks, nothing new here. This story's called The Attack of the Burger Karen. So this didn't happen to me, it happened to my friend, but I will be telling it in first-person view like he told me. So a little backstory. My friend works at a restaurant. I won't say the name of it though, I'm sure some of you will try to guess what it is. The cook had a bad attitude and disrespected my friend a bunch, so my friend quit and found another job at a different restaurant. He is friends with a couple of the waiters though. Meet the cast. Karen? Orchid. Me. Manager. Waiter. On to the story. So this was either a Friday or a Saturday, and I wasn't working that day, but decided to visit my friends and have some lunch. Note, this was around 1 week after he had quit his job there and gone to a more autistic-friendly place. So in walks the Karen, talking to poor kid who looks maybe 15. Now, I was talking to a friend who was on a lunch break with me, and the entitled mother and poor kid sit down at a table about 3 away from ours, but it is in eyesight. The other waiters are busy helping and serving other customers their food. They were in their spots for maybe 4 minutes, and the Karen started to complain about how long the service was taking, and that we should have had our order taken as soon as we got here. Then she spots us sitting down and eating, stands up and does some kind of an army march towards us, and then stares down at me, I'm guessing trying to intimidate me or something. Why aren't you taking our orders? And you should be eating on the job, it's unprofessional. I don't work here. Don't you lie to me, I saw you here last week taking orders. Well, excuse me, but you don't need to yell. He really doesn't work. I'm not talking to you, you lazy racial slur. Whoa, okay, lady, you need to calm down. Don't tell me what to do. I am the paying customer and I won't allow you lazy ways to corrupt my daughter into thinking she can be a lazy racial and homophobic slurs like you. You're not even in your work clothes, how unprofessional. Poor kid looks like she wants to disappear. Lady, I do not work here anymore. Go back to your table and wait to be served or leave and eat somewhere else. Just leave us alone. You are disturbing us and others around you. I'll have you fired for treating me like this. You know what? Go ahead. Don't you talk to me like that, young man! Manager comes out, hearing all the commotion, and walks over to our table. What's going on here? Who is yelling? This lady is... They threatened me and my daughter and called us horrible names. I want them fired for treating us like this. Wait, what? That's so not true. Well, OP here doesn't even work here anymore. He quit last week. Yeah, right. I bet you're just covering for him. I want him fired here right now. Poor kid then walks up. Mom, just stop. This is why I hate going places with you. This is why Dad is divorcing you. Karen goes quiet. Let's just go. I want to go back to Dad's house now. Okay. They left after that, and I'm not sure what happened after, but Wow. Okay, I swear, we need to start carrying around spray bottles to squirt Karens when they start getting out of hand. That might fix a lot of problems. Or make worse problems, but I think it's worth a try. This story's called, "Today I fudged up by drinking so much water I ended up in the hospital." This happened a couple of years ago. It was a very stupid and dangerous screw-up, and I'm lucky I didn't end up in a coma. So maybe this will raise some awareness about drinking too much water. I was at my boyfriend's when I suddenly felt a dull ache in my pelvis. I had suffered from urinary tract infections before and immediately knew this was what I was experiencing. I'm terrified of UTIs because they can be pretty darn excruciating. So, in an attempt to avoid the pain getting worse, I stupidly drank about 4 liters of water in the space of maybe 20 minutes, wrongly thinking it would flush the bacteria out and save me. I typically drink 2 to 3 liters a day, so didn't think much of it. Now, during those 20 minutes of continuously sucking down water, my symptoms worsened considerably. Too much information, but my urine was pretty much just pure blood, and I couldn't stray from the bathroom for more than 1 agonizing minute at a time. At this point, my boyfriend told me we needed to go to A&E. We arrived and waited for a few hours, most of which I spent on the toilet. Eventually, I was seen by a doctor who took one little look at the little pot of red urine I was clutching and immediately prescribed a 2-week course of antibiotics. Yay! Crisis averted. It was about 11 p.m., time to go to bed. But wait, remember when I downed more water in 20 minutes than most people drink in 3 days? New crisis alert. About 10 minutes into the journey back to the flat, the nausea hit me like a ton of bricks and I promptly projectile vomited all over the passenger seat and myself. We eventually pulled into the car park and I got out of the car only to be welcomed by what felt like lightning striking the top of my head. It was like my brain was splitting in two. During the ride in the elevator, I started losing my vision, blind and covered in vomit. I immediately got into the shower where I sobbed for a good 5 minutes. At this point, I assumed it was just a bad migraine and I could sleep it off in a dark room. So I reached for my boyfriend so he could help me get to the bedroom safely. When I noticed I couldn't feel anything, my hands had lost all feeling and the rest of my limbs started to feel numb. 10 minutes later, the confusion began. It's hard to describe. I remember looking around the bedroom that I'd spent countless hours in and not being able to tell which way I was lying on the bed, which wall had the mirror on it, or where the door was. It's like I could see what I was looking at, but I couldn't understand it. I could no longer remember the words for things. I remember at one point choking out between sobs, "I'm intellectually disabled," as I struggled to recall what a vacuum cleaner was, despite looking right at it. My boyfriend decided to call an ambulance. When the paramedics arrived, probably expecting me to be off my face on something other than water, they asked me questions like what my name was, date of birth, address, and so on. I just looked to my boyfriend, confused, not able to answer. I genuinely could not understand anything. I could hear what was being said perfectly, but my brain couldn't process it. It was a bizarre and terrifying experience. Fortunately, that was the worst of it. At the hospital, I slowly regained my vision and the feeling in my face and limbs, and was eventually seen by a doctor at around 6 a.m., having spent the night propped up against my boyfriend in the waiting room. I was told my sodium levels were low as they hooked me up with an IV and gave me stronger antibiotics. I was stuck in the hospital with only a bad headache for the next 3 days. It was only today when I saw a news article about hyponatremia that I realized what I had experienced, and how lucky I was that I didn't end up comatose or dead. Acute hyponatremia is when sodium levels drop rapidly, resulting in potentially dangerous effects, such as rapid brain swelling. The symptoms include those I described above: nausea, headache, and confusion. So take it from me, do not drink too much water in such a short space of time. Oh yeah, I remember reading about this before. It's actually really hard to get hyponatremia. I'm not exactly sure what the dose is that you need to take of water, but it's insanely high and it's very, very uncommon. So just drink until you're not thirsty anymore. You know, you don't need to worry about this ever happening to you unless you're purposefully trying to drink as much water as you possibly can. So yeah, y'all are good, no need to panic, but geez, that's gotta be terrifying though, to be in such a state of confusion. Wow. Alrighty, this story's called Today I Forked Up by Leaving a Tube of Thermal Paste on My Desk. For those of you who are not into PCs, thermal paste is the substance that makes sure that there is contact between your computer's processor and the processor cooler. And as always, didn't actually happen today but a few weeks ago. So a real short one for you guys. Basically, my CPU was overheating, so I decided to replace the thermal paste. Because the last time I did that was 2 years ago. When I finished applying the thermal paste, I just kinda left it on the desk and forgot about it. I ran a few stress tests on my CPU and the temps looked normal. In the meantime, my dad came home from work, came to my room to say hello. He noticed the thermal paste tube on my desk, and for some freaking reason, he thought it was a syringe for drugs. He got all serious and started saying what has gotten into me, and I thought he was just joking around, as he usually does. I kinda smirked and explained that it's thermal paste, but he didn't believe me. When I realized he wasn't joking, I pulled up a YouTube video showing thermal paste being applied, which made him calm down. We laughed about it later in the day. Alright, that was quite the wholesome story, and, just a story that made me long for a father that wished to joke around with me. But no, for real. Yeah, this is a cute little story. Thought it would be fun to share. This story's called, Today I Fudged Up by Going Too Fast on a Water Slide. So, today I was at the pool and I wanted to go off the slide. Me being me, I wanted to go as fast as possible. And when I saw a sign with the current speed record, I wanted to beat it whatever it took. At the end of the slide, there is a curve that is open so you can see the outside. Well, I discovered that when you go fast enough, you can indeed fall off the slide if you go near the edge of the curve. When I fell on the ground, I broke my leg. Fast forward to when I was at the doctor, I had to tell them how I broke my leg. So I told him, and he laughed and was quite impressed how I managed to fall off the slide. And no, I did not beat the speed limit, sadly. I'm still planning on beating it though, but first I need to recover. I'm still curious how the other person managed to go so fast without falling off the slide. Okay, that was a short little sweet one. Yeah, that's terrifying. Whoa, flying off a water slide? Those things can be really tall. That is terrifying. I've had scary thoughts about that before, but thankfully have never come close to falling off. But it's very unsettling that it's possible. And regarding the speed record, that person was probably skinnier than you, more aerodynamic, but that's just my guess. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.